government of the day. And none of y'all in that house to share. Come on, man. And there's no responsibility of it. Then what does it take? 1,000? Yeah, y'all can smile, but this is not a smiling matter. Because they got families crying and looking for their loved ones. Don't crying about that. But y'all think this is at all. And y'all got a smirk on y'all face as if nothing happened. What's wrong with y'all in this house? No shame, none. I come smiling as if y'all want to tell people with that. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all is the government that depend on y'all to live. It's y'all that depend on. Everybody come here smiling like y'all got something against people talking. One big chance on the boat, y'all is shame.
Why you don't want the truth to come out? You should allow the captain to be free that you've held right now and allow him to speak. Let him come out and speak. Release the captain and let him speak. But y'all don't want to do that because he will speak and he will speak the truth. He will speak the truth. So y'all don't want him to come out. Y'all don't want him to speak. Y'all don't want him to come out and speak. And you don't want other members within that grouping, other captains and other sailors to speak to the media. You don't want them to speak to the opposition. Because you got things to hide. Plenty things you got to hide. Plenty skeletons y'all got in the closet. You don't want them out. You know, I remember sitting in Parliament in 2004 and heard Minister Edgell boasting about a new ferry that they would have bought. To date, we can't see that ferry flying this very route that he said this MV Barima was going to be pulled off, and that one would have been flying that route. To date, we can't see it. But you know what we have seen? We've seen that very ferry that was bought doing boat ride, excursion, big dance on the river. Big dance on the river, boat ride, boat excursion. That very ferry that was bought to allow our Guyanese people to travel in comfort. You're not using it for that purpose, but you're using it to have big party. Boat cruise, big boat cruise, so that the kickbacks could come in. Edgell must go. Indar must go. They're not worthy to sit there and to be called honorable anymore. They're not honorable. They are no longer honorable. They must be sent packing. And if the president is worth his salt, you shouldn't even ask them. Because one Edgell is so pompous to say, oh, that is at the discretion of the president. The president shouldn't have any discretion at this time. They should go. Let me take you back. The late Rashdi Jackson. His son was caught up.
I know by now, a lot of you would have noticed the name, the image, the qualification, and the origin of the 5 members that will sit on the Commission of Inquiry into the MV Barima tragedy. One thing that is noticeable is that not one Guyanese is sitting on that board. This is a clear indication that the government is removing the perception of political interference and political biasness. There is nothing to hide. The president would have made a prudent decision in making sure that this commission is made up of international recognized personnel. And I want you all to pay keen attention to how the opposition and elements of the opposition would position themselves in the coming days. Because I know even if Jesus and the 12 disciples come down here and they sit on the commission of inquiry, they would still have a problem. They do it all the time. But I want you all to notice how prudent the president's decision was to select these members. I welcome this process, and I'm hoping that you guys see that the government have nothing to hide. I thank you for your attention on this matter. I'll catch you.
Appeal to the people of Guyana to be very responsible at this stage, right? There is no official footage of this vessel floating and, being capsized and floating. This incident took place during the hours of darkness. So to show an image of the vessel on its side floating on the water, that is some AI-generated image that is meant to create mischief. Okay? That's the least we want at this stage. Let us stick with the facts. The vessel came under distress during the hours of darkness. And while the investigation will look at time and everything and so, everything including the capsizing of the vessel and the sinking to the seabed would have occurred during the hours of darkness. So how can you show a photograph with the vessel on its side, in daylight? That did not happen. And I appeal to Guyanese to be very responsible at this stage and don't share any photograph that is not been verified by the appropriate authorities. So I appeal to the wider Guyanese public to desist from sharing some of these footages and some of these still photographs. I've seen photographs shared claiming that this is the state of the vessel a week before or during the actual journey. And we've already did our analyses to show that that was not so, right? So many of these footages that are being peddled out there will just cause a lot of harm and is a source of distraction, so to speak, from what we're trying to achieve now, right? Pulling people together and working towards rescue, recovery, and bringing forward.
When you have a nation mourning, the ex-presidents, they want pleasure by seeking millions of dollars more per month with the millions they're already getting. So these people, they greed and they lust and they for power is unending. They are a shameful bunch of people. In this crisis, you're going to come here and ask this house to give you $2 million plus per month more, making it over $4 million per month for ex-president to get. And he's not going to buy. He does not have to buy anything. A poor man with $250 a month is going to have to. He has to buy everything. He got to pay transport, pay house rent, pay water, pay everything.
Nobody. It will not be business as usual.
No, the lives of the people of
And they're just not sitting down there. People calling for Edgar and Edgar to go all the time. The Prime Minister got into American government for this life. How much disrespect we need to take consideration? How much?
We have no confidence.
The Barima tragedy is a painful reminder of what happens when we allow systemic neglect to fade into the background. Real empathy cannot remain something that we offer right after disaster strikes in Guyana, and we continue to let this superficial action take precedence over what we truly need to demand. Safety for our people, answers to the tough questions, and to offer value, a show of value, to lives that are lost and families who are grieving the loved ones that have been lost. And I want us to think more deeply about the people who showed up, the civil actors that really moved things forward and that created this recovery mission that is worth showing this dignity towards. For instance, Harish Singh and the local fisherfolk. When these assumptions were centered around Iron Fund, it was local knowledge, radioing in actual coordinates, tracking debris that helped to pinpoint the wreckage site. See, it's that deep pride in what other civil actors have to offer when it comes to community, and of course, the humility in people like Harish Singh that shows what happens when a community altogether steps up. It is never going to be a slow bureaucratic response that pulls people out of the dark. We need to start practicing human solidarity, especially as we know that there are many institutionalized failures. What we enable is what continues to happen. True reflection is an act of resistance. We need to start honoring properly the heroes that have given their lives. People like you and me that just wish to be with their families to get home safely, no matter what they have to traverse. And we need to demand this standard of safety and care that every single person.
I want to wish my deepest condolences to the families of the 53 people who lost their lives in the sinking of the MV Barima. And we as a Guyanese people will fight to get the answers that you ultimately deserve, because this cannot just be another tragedy that we mourn and forget. Guyana wants to become one of the fastest growing countries in the world, but growth without systems is not development. When passengers lists are inaccurate, regulations exist only on paper, and accountability fails, ordinary people will pay with their lives. And at this time, Guyana needs to look itself in the mirror. From transportation to construction, healthcare, and public safety, we need real inspections, accurate records, enforced rules, and consequences when people fail to do their jobs. Well, money can build the roads and the big buildings, but a developed country is measured by whether its systems protect its people. We as Guyanese people need to demand transparency, we need to demand reform, because we cannot wait for the next tragedy to occur in our country.
Barima tragedy is more than a heartbreaking accident. It's a test of leadership. Right now, families deserve answers. They deserve transparency. They deserve to know exactly what happened, whether safety protocols were followed, whether inspections were up to date, and whether this tragedy could have been prevented. When those answers come to the public, if the investigation finds negligence, incompetence, or failures within the ministry responsible for transport and harbors and the transport and waterways, then political accountability cannot, and I say cannot, be optional. In every functioning democracy, ministers are expected to take responsibility for failures that occur under their watch, even if they weren't physically on that vessel. Accountability isn't revenge. Accountability is how governments rebuild the public trust. And right now, there is absolutely no trust. The people who rely on ferries every single day deserve confidence that they'll return home safely. And not only safely, safely with remorse. No family should board a vessel wondering if they'll become tomorrow's headline. And not just local headline, international. May we not forget this is international. Guyana cannot normalize preventable tragedies. We owe the victims more than condolences. We owe them change. If it means immediately or effectively allowing the minister to resign. If leadership failed, then leadership must answer. And this go from the Minister of Labor and Public Works to transport ministers and managers. Pray for the families. Demand the truth. And if failures are uncovered, demand accountability, no matter who it reaches.
Problem with how many bodies Muhammad find in the Atlantic Ocean. That was a part of the tragedy. He make a whole post counting how much bodies, claiming that Ashudi Muhammad is the only person finding bodies, and he got a problem with the man putting up how much bodies he found. If you have a problem with how much bodies the man found, call the Coast Guard in Guyana and ask them to dive deeper so that they can find more bodies than Ashudi Muhammad. Because like you got time for count bodies. No, it's not the count bodies. This is not a laughing matter. No, it's time for unity. Not posting madness, but Muhammad showing off with how much bodies he find. How could people show off with a tragedy, a death like this of bodies? You got nothing for post as content. Listen, I coming off this social media, yeah?
I is the man God address you. I God address you. Like tell you something. You keep pushing the people of Guyana. This could be the first country that everybody will left every office and every store, every workplace, every company and touch the road because you are going too far. Everybody don't get fed up. Keep pushing people. I see you send out minister only to threaten people. You come out threatening people because you know they're frightening you. But I go deal with you because I know the sacrifices you sacrifice. I gonna deal with you. Come wrong me with your stupidness. You can send the police here too. Everybody go strike point y'all. This demon here, this one ain't going down so. Y'all ain't getting for violate with this time and go away. We ain't allowing this for slide. Y'all gonna get it right. People gotta step down. People gotta remove. Don't threaten we. Don't come out and threaten we. This clown show thing, we ain't weak like before. We ain't falling for the come out and threaten we for we run back inside and then y'all come out and kill more we again. Nah, we ain't dessa Jack Dio. We ain't dessa no more. The done.
Is that if this incident had never happened, then most of us that live in this country would not have been aware that these were the conditions that people had to endure on a 29-hour journey to where they needed to go. And that's not counting the times where the engine would fail and then they would be left drifting on the ocean for hours till they can possibly get it fixed to continue their journey. I think most of the problems we face today in Guyanese society can be, if not completely solved or at least remedied to some extent, is when we start actually giving a shit about other people. And not just whether people live or die, that's the bare minimum, right? I'm talking about caring about people's quality of life, their livelihoods, whether they can comfortably provide for their families while also still saving for the future, whether they can enjoy the simple things in life, whether it's just going to take their family to watch a movie without having to break the bank, or even buying a little car without having to go into severe crippling debt and wondering when their next fucking meal is gonna come, right? I mean, that is the dream, right? A country that's rapidly progressing with every headline, with every story. We're growing, outpacing the rest of the world, yet it feels like the average person is being left behind. This incident is just a symptom of a larger issue that, if left unaddressed, will set a precedent that we won't be able to come back from years to come. We're literally at a crossroads right now that will dictate where this country is going to go amidst this rapid development that's happening. Yes, we're growing as a country economically, massive boom, massive development. But are our values growing? Are our values evolving for the better? And God, I hope we can make the right choices that will lead this country down a better path for everyone.
Shows that the MV Barima was scheduled for a 124.5 million rehabilitation before capsizing. Before we get into this article, be sure to follow me for more updates. As the investigations continue into the MV Barima incident, attention is now turning to the Department of Public Information. Article published on March 9, 2026, which reveals that the vessel was already slated for major rehabilitation works this year. According to the government release, the MV Barima was among 3 state-owned vessels earmarked for upgrades under a rehabilitation program valued at more than $440 million. The article stated that $124.5 million had been allocated specifically for the rehabilitation works on the MV Barima, which regularly operates the Georgetown to Port Kaituma route and provides essential transport link for passengers and cargo, serving communities across the Northwest District including Mabaruma and Kumaka. Therefore, the vessel was supposed to undergo rehabilitation, however, it was never done. What do you guys think about this? Drop your thoughts down in the comment section as usual.
A week since the MV Barima boat capsized off the Essequibo coast in Guyana. If you haven't heard about this is one of the worst marine tragedies that happened in South America, Guyana. My family and I are extending our deepest condolences to the families and friends who lost their loved ones. Investigation is currently being held for this 87-year-old boat. We don't have a single answer yet, but these are some possibilities. Number 1, it's a possible overloading. I'm reading what I put on the screen right now. The MV Barima may have been carrying more passengers than officially recorded. Why is that? What made that happen? Authorities later said that there were 179 people aboard, even though the original manifest listed 133, raising concerns that some passengers may have been boarded without being recorded. How is that possible? The second one is cargo loading instability. Investigators are examining whether the way the cargo was loaded affected the ferry's stability. I have been watching all of the survivors tell their part of the story. They mention large amounts of cargo on board. Number 3, water entering the vessel. Several survivors reported seeing water coming into the ferry before it capsized and said their concerns may have not been acted upon promptly. I have also seen survivors talked about this. They went to the captain and they told him, and the captain said, no problem. This happened before. If me see water coming in a boat, there's a big issue right there. So the people are bringing this issue to the captain. What am I do? Which brings me to number 4, crew actions and possible negligence. So the survivor said that the crew was seen drinking, they're watching the game, the FIFA World Cup. Why were they drinking on a boat? They're working. Come on, Guyana, you gotta do something about this. Yes, drinking is part of the culture, but while you're working too, you gotta stop that. So it says reports also state that the captain and another crew member tested positive for marijuana. And number 5, it's the condition of the ferry, which is 87 years old. I just think this could have been prevented, and this is a wake-up call for the people, the authority figures in Guyana. Hold on a second. I googled how often should a boat be inspected. Inspection should happen before the trip, monthly, every 100 hours, or yearly, and every 5 years. So they need to test bile pumps, check the battery for rust. They need to check the safety gear, the life jackets, the flares. Where were all of that? How many life jackets did this boat, MV Barima, was carrying? Where are the flares? Where are the lifeboats? So I don't know if the crew inspected this boat or had any sort of care. And then I typed in the Guyana MV Barima 87-year-old boat, and it says, no, the MV Barima was not safe, and it tragically proved why old, overloaded commercial vessels fail. On July 18, 2026, the 87-year-old Guyanese government ferry capsized and sank in Atlantic waters while traveling from Georgetown to Port Kaituma, resulting in one of the worst disasters in Guyana history. We need a lot of investigation, and we don't need no corruption. Just investigate, get straight to the problem, figure out what happened. Don't try to protect anything. Just tell us, the Guyanese people, what it is so we can move forward from this and prevent it from happening. So 76 people were rescued off of the MV Barima out of 179 people aboard. We hope that they continue to find the remaining 100 bodies. This is going down in history as one of the worst tragedies that happened in Guyana. So my thoughts and prayers are to the families, the survivors. We are with you from afar. We are here watching and listening and hoping and praying that answers are to follow.
If I were the president of Guyana, I would have asked the Minister of Transport and Harbor like one question. I would have been like, all right, so let me get this straight. We signed off on buying a brand new vessel, a boat, knowing pretty well that the ferry or the port where this boat is to be docked or where this vessel is to be docked is not compatible for this boat. It's not big enough, it's not upgraded or something like that. So we buy the boat and then we're gonna fix the port, or then we're gonna fix the ferry, or then we're gonna fix whoever. So you're basically telling me you go out and buy an iPhone knowing pretty well that you have an Android charger. This is what you do. Alright,
Guyana has failed Guyana tremendously, and they need to take accountability for what happened. Since this whole tragedy in Guyana, I haven't been the same. My mental is not okay. Even though you guys see me posting video here and there, and I may look happy, I am not happy and I'm not okay. I keep thinking about these people. I can't sleep at night. I keep hearing cries in my head. I keep seeing these children struggling in the water for survival. This has been a piercing to my heart, along with many Guyanese and a lot of people around the world who is looking in on Guyana. I am not the only one who is feeling this way. I know a lot of you is hurting the same way as I am. I have a vacation to go on next week, and to tell you guys the truth, I can't bring myself to even start packing. All my stuff is all over the place. I can't bring myself. I can't find the happiness in my heart because of what's going on in Guyana. And now you're seeing funerals, here and there. And the way these people are crying is just ripping me apart so bad. A lot of these families can't even give their loved ones a proper funeral because the bodies are so badly decomposed. This is heartbreaking. All of this could have been prevented. An 80-something-year-old ferry on the Atlantic Ocean. The ferry was so old, it was overloaded to the max. They even had a coffin in there with a woman going across on the other side to be buried. Why was the ferry on the water? 80-something-year-old. What is that ferry doing on the water? Guyana have a lot of money. A lot of money Guyana have. Couldn't the government buy a new ferry for these people? They have money to throw all these party boats and all these things, all these nice fancy buildings always throwing up in Guyana. But the main thing for Guyana, they're not taking care of. The ferry is what people use as transportation. A lot of people use these ferry to get from one point to another. A lot of them use it to trade. Some of them buy, their goods and they go on the other side and they sell. A lot of them use it to go see family members. So the ferry was very, very important. Why was the ferry even underwater? They could have bought a damn ferry for the people. 86 years old, if I'm not mistaken, that ferry was. Overloaded to the max. Crew member under the influence. This is a whole big disaster that could have been prevented. And now the whole world is in tears for these people. Whether you're Guyanese or not, I know your heart is breaking seeing these people in distress like this. So many children lost their lives. So many parents are separated from the children. So many children are separated from their parents. One man said that his wife haven't seen her parents in 9 years. And she decided to go to see her parents. So he went, she went, and they had 3 kids. He lost his wife and his 3 kids. And he's the only one survived. How does he go on with life? How? His entire family gone. How does he move forward? You can never move forward in a situation like that. A baby bottle is floating in the Atlantic Ocean. My heart shattered into pieces just by that one picture of that baby bottle floating in the Atlantic Ocean. The government has failed Guyana tremendously. And I am very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. This feels like a nightmare that I'm trying to wake up from and I can't. But I don't know if any of you is feeling the same way I'm feeling. My head won't stop hurting. My eyes are filled up. I don't know how I can enjoy my vacation with all of this on my heart, that's sitting on my heart. I don't know how. All my stuff is just sitting out here. I have to pack and I can't get it together. I can't get it together. I keep thinking about this so much. My mental is not okay. The headache won't go away. My eyes are so filled up. I am so disappointed with the government of Guyana. Guyana have a lot of money. You could buy a damn ferry for these people. You could buy a ferry for these people. You're throwing party here and there, throwing up all these fancy buildings, and the important things is not getting taken care of. The people of Guyana is not being taken care of properly. Right after this, give them a few weeks. They're going to give everybody a cash grant for everybody to forget about it. I'll show you guys all my stuff that's sitting out here that I need to get started packing, and I just can't get it together. So I have all my suitcases lying off here that I need to pack, and I can't. All my stuff. All we can do is just pray for these people. That's all we can do. But this feels like a nightmare that I'm trying to wake up from, and I cannot wake up from it.
He comes there, Irfan, and says nothing that we don't, there's nothing we want to hear, Irfan. Don't believe that you're going to hang this thing around these two boys' neck. Why don't you all let the public know that the same engineer that y'all got in custody, tell them up to Friday we want on the boat. It is not seaworthy. Why y'all didn't tell them that engineers have been going to the same jail time and again to complain about the boat, and when they do go, they're getting transferred, and you get some sheet given to you because you gotta. Why they're not telling people that captains have resorted to absenting themselves anytime they have to walk the boat so that they don't have to go on that boat? And then you get up there and you want to pontificate and you want to carry on and you want to brand these people as criminals. Now, let me be clear. If they are from cultural, then they must be held to account. Just like how you, Ejel, Ilar, all of you that manage that system must be held to account. Because it is you all that monitor the system, not nobody else. It's y'all. And then they have the sycophants. And this is what sickens me about some of us as Guyanese. We will defend the indefensible. We will defend the indefensible because guess what? Oh, we are so caught up in our political identity that we forget our humanity. Seeing stupid comments like, oh, the crew should have been more responsible. When everybody tell y'all a big wave come, capsized the vessel because it was overloaded with people and cargo. But y'all think that and then you're not even hearing from the crew. Do they have lawyers? I know since yesterday afternoon that they were going to hang this thing around people's necks. When I saw how they were moving, I knew it because these vagabonds cannot take accountability for anything.
My take on the MV Barima's tragedy, part 2. So I am keeping abreast with what is happening. I'm looking, well, Facebook give lots of information. I don't think that we are apprised as we should by the relative news media. I don't know what news medias are authorized to report and to keep us abreast because I'm hardly seeing some, news media actually reporting and we're not having up-to-date information. I think that we getting more information from what we would call the laymen or the sources that are unauthorized. Yet we have heard that there can be penalties and charges should they report inaccuracy. And I don't know how we are going to measure inaccuracy if we do not know what should be accurate. So that's why we're depending on reliable media reporting, which we are not getting as we should. I think that the nation is in limbo and the nation needs to have regular updates. We're looking for updates, right? Now, yesterday I was looking at the on a live where they were talking about Mr. Sherrod Duncan being held because of some drone flying over the charity area where the actually maybe the command center, I would call it. And I don't know a lot about the laws as it relates to reporting and what you will do in situations like that. I don't know if it's expected that the oppositions keep away or the other political parties keep away from these sites and from reporting. I don't know. I think reporting should be something, yes, that we should actually have have laws over and have restrictions. I do agree. But I don't know where that went yesterday. I was listening to members of the APNU speaking about them being going into a taped off area to see how they can interact with the survivors, with their relatives and so forth. And they said the approach, they went in and they greeted the police, and the greeting was reciprocated. They went into the area, but shortly after, a minister came and stepped out of a vehicle, saw them, went to the police, and then apparently an instruction was given because the police came to tell them that they couldn't be there, and they said that it's instructions, right? It's really bad for me. I think it's really bad. Remember, I said in my first part, I don't follow politics, and it's a touchy area. But I like to call a coin, and I like to say things how I see it, right? Why should they be sent away? Why can't they be there? What are they doing? Are they, causing any type of hindrances in the operation? Why? I mean, it's everybody's interest. I think if there is overcrowding there, yes, it should be monitored. But then again, they are part of they are parliamentarians, they are part of opposition, and they should have even if you send off people, they should be able to have, even if you limit the amount of them that are there. But I don't know in what way they were, if they were intimidating. I don't know what, because I wasn't there and I could only say what I'm hearing. But if it went like how I heard it or it was spoken, I don't think that that's right. It's not right, because we all are Guyanese. We all are affected. We all are hurting. We all wish we can hug those people and that we can talk to them. I know that they will want to have interviews, and maybe the government side might think that they will turn it into politics. Of course, we can't help what happened at this time, but everybody is looking. And if you allow transparency, we can all see, and we let us, the people, make the judgment of what is out there. Secondly, I have seen from day one Mr. Azruddin Mohammed out there with his boats, with his men, with whatever. He is there. Just being present is kudos that I will give to Mr. Mohammed. He is there, flat foot, he is there. And now to hear that he cannot pick up nobody, he cannot do this, and then we hearing from the government side, it's coming over as if, he is not authorized and he's just doing this, and he's not saving any or rescuing anybody because, it's like he's doing this to mileage, like if he is, like this come to save me person, but actually it's just like he's trying to get clout. I don't care what he's trying to get, sir. I don't care what Mr. Muhammad is trying to get, but I like what he's doing. And Mr. Muhammad, just continue doing what you're doing, right? I think that Guyana admires what he does whenever there is tragedy. He is on point. He is there. He is present, and he's present in a tangible way, right? Now, even if, because this is what we hear, that he's trying to save himself from being extradited, he's trying to win the hearts of people, and he's trying, like the things we do, he playing a victim, and he does this and he does that. I don't even care about all of that. But I want to say that I am very, very moved to what Mr. Muhammad is doing. He is there. I could remember when that couple, that pregnant girl and her spouse, drowned in Unity, I think it was. It was him and his his crew that he sent. They picked up the bodies. They were the ones. And in so many other cases, we have seen Mr. Mohammed going to front and just being there, like I said, in a tangible way. Not to go to smile and take pictures and post a whole lot and all of that. No, he does. I'm not saying he doesn't post pictures, but he does the work. And I want to say to Mr. Mohammed, on behalf of the people, I want to say thank you for what you are doing. And at this time, you are there. You don't have to be there. You could have been with your family. You could have been doing other things, fun things. But you are even there. Even sometimes we got to take in the scent and the sight, but you're there, right? Kudos to you. And I want to say to everybody that is in that operation, whether to rescue those that are, that were brought in alive, whether it's bodies, whatever it is, you are doing it on behalf of your land. It's because of your love for this country. It's because of your love for people. And we, the people of Guyana, we are grateful and we are saying thank you. We want to say God bless you. And I pray at this time that God would bless you and bless your family, that God would look over them and protect them, and that, the good that you do will be like seeds that are planted that will come as a harvest to you. It will be reciprocated, right? And I'm not saying that, in other words, that people going to go and find your family and all of that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the good that you're doing for humanity, it will come back to you and your family. It will come back to your generations to come. God bless you all for what you're doing. It's not a pleasant thing what you're doing, but God bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon all of you in the mighty name of Jesus. God bless.
On the night of July 18, Ghana lost about 100 of its people when the MV Barima sank. Here is a safety-focused desk review based on public information. The MV Barima was 87 years old. She left Georgetown at 3:15. The passenger list said 133 people. The real number was about 179. 11 that night off Iron Punt, she leaned over in rough waves and wind and went under in less than a minute. The call for help went out at 11:01. Fishermen reached survivors first. The official rescue took 3.5 hours. 67 were saved, 73 bodies were found, and about 30 are still missing. So why did she go over? She was packed 268 tons of cargo. Survivors say water was already coming in below deck, and parts of her steel frame were worn out. Repairs were priced in March, and there is no record they were ever done. Rough seas did the rest, and officials gave different numbers for how much she was allowed to carry, so nobody could say what the safe limit actually was. Here we drew one picture of the whole disaster, a bow tie diagram. On one side, the two things that pushed her over, the overloading and the worn out ship. On the other, the two results, the people who died and the survivors left floating for hours. In between sit the safeguards that were supposed to stop all of this. Every single one either failed or there is no proof it existed. The only thing that truly worked was the fishermen, and they were never part of the plan. Here is a 5 why analysis. We kept asking why, and 4 answers kept coming back. First, there was no real safety system, no rules anyone followed. Second, the people who check the ferries and the people who run them work for the same ministry. Third, an old ship kept going on patch-up repairs, while her replacement sat at the dock. And fourth, the rescue services were never ready for a night like this. After all of it, dangerous shortcuts had become normal. The fix comes in 4 steps. In the first month, stop and check. No ship sails until someone proves she is safe. Within 6 months, fix how things run. Real safety rules, honest passenger lists, proper loading limits. Within 18 months, change who is in charge. A real ferry law and safety checks done by people who don't answer to the ferry operators. Then make it permanent. None of these actions count as done until it's proven to work. So what are we asking for? 3 things. Check the old ships now. Make the safety checkers independent of the ferry operators. And replace old ships on a schedule, not after a tragedy. This is not an official government report, but it is aimed at influencing the creation of a ministry of occupation.
Saying from the time this tragedy happened that we need a marine casualty investigation.
Yeah.
I say that because I'm a trained maritime lawyer.
That was my second question, but all right.
I say that because and I keep hearing, oh, let's have a COI, let's have a COI. And I'm not saying let's not have a COI. That's not what I'm saying. But they're 2 different things for 2 different purposes. And it cannot be one or the other. Now, Guyana, as a state, has signed on to a number of international agreements. The people that forced us to sign it. We went and we said that this is what we will do. So we have created upon ourselves a legal obligation. One such legal obligation is that if there is a marine casualty or a serious marine casualty, that is, a ship is lost, lives are lost, then you have to, not that you could if you want to, you must do a marine safety investigation. Why do you need to do it? You need to do it because from a technical perspective, you need to understand what happened, why it happened, and how do we make sure that it doesn't happen to us ever again. And to do that, you need technical people. You'll need people who can do ship surveys. You'll need people with something that are called that have expertise in human factors. You'll need people who are experienced in remodeling and restaging the ship's voyage, etc., to understand what might have happened, to sort of simulate the conditions under which it happened. You'll need people who can talk to the seaworthiness of the vessel. You'll need people who will be able to look at the documentation and say, no, this, that is missing, that is incorrect, because they have been specifically trained to do it. So you're talking about a collection of at least 10 or 12 experts, not one person that has, as we would put it in Guyana, top knowledge of everything, but 12 different people specifically trained on that aspect.
Right. Solely,
and that is all they're coming to look at. And then together they will make up the safety report that they have to present to the state, and that Guyana has a legal obligation to present to the IMO. I am not even sure that we have notified this accident to the IMO. And so if you talk about frustration and wanting to give up, but I can't, because I happen to know that if we go for a commission of inquiry only, the president can assemble 10 people, not necessarily technical people, but that will never get to the technical depth that will tell us why what happened. And so we lose the opportunity to make sure that we are able to get the technical implementation, the technical recommendations to make sure that this don't happen again in Guyana. And so, I want us to understand it cannot be one or the other. It has to be both. The Commission of Inquiry could inquire into what has happened administratively, who failed, who didn't do what. That maritime safety investigation will also do that. But it will also make sure that we bring in experts in the area because we don't have them here. And indeed, Guyanese will feel far more comfortable if people who are not in the system are the people investigating.
Tragedy. Ministers Edgel and Indar must resign. The PNCR APNU extends its deepest sympathy to the families who have lost loved ones and stand with every family still awaiting news of their loved ones. We commend the Coast Guard, medical teams, fisherfolk, volunteers, and all responders for their tireless efforts during this difficult circumstance. The search for every missing person must remain the nation's immediate priority. As rescue and recovery efforts continue, the emerging facts point to serious and unacceptable failures. Minister Edgel's own admission already exposed systemic failure. The government cannot state with certainty how many persons were actually aboard because many rescued passengers were not recorded on the original manifest. They also cannot provide an accurate account of the cargo or tonnage on board the vessel. Lives have been lost and families remain in anguish. This is not a minor administrative lapse. It is the collapse of basic maritime oversight and control. Minister Juan Edgel rushed to blame a big wave and to dismiss overloading and mechanical concerns even before an independent investigation had established the cause. The Ministry of Public Works, through the Transport and Harbors Department, operate and maintain this vessel. Only in March, the ministry invited bids for a $125 million docking and overhaul of the MV Barima. The MV Barima, being scheduled to be out of service, is a critical issue that the government must address factually. It also forces an obvious question. Did the government make the correct repair or buy decisions regarding the 80-plus-year-old MV Barima? Another obvious question we are asking is this: could the MV Barima have encountered a failure on its ultimate journey? Minister Deodat Indar's Ministry of Public Utilities and Aviation houses the MARAD, the maritime regulator. Just 1 month ago, Minister Indar warned that failed inspections can send vessels to sea and put lives at risk. He must now produce the MV Barima's inspection, seaworthiness, safety certification, crew fitness, and emergency readiness records. The PPPC government must not scapegoat junior workers while shielding the ministers who supervise the system. MARAD cannot credibly investigate its own regulatory conduct without independent oversight. The PNCR APNU therefore calls on Minister Indar and Minister Edgel to resign or be removed pending a truly independent inquiry led by qualified external maritime experts. Every manifest, cargo record, maintenance and dry dock file, inspection certificate, crew testing record, and emergency response log must be made public. Affected families must therefore receive full support, compensation, and access to independent legal counsel. Ministerial responsibility means the buck stops at the top. The victims and their families deserve truth, justice, and reform, not excuse, spins, or scapegoats.
Hi guys, good morning. Today is actually our second day of mourning because of the tragedy that occurred with the MV Barima and yet another moment, I'm going to take time out to say my deepest condolences to all the families who would have lost their loved ones, especially the mothers who had to experience the fact that their children were taken from them, particularly the mother that lost 7. My belly turned upside down because at that point in time when I heard it, all I could say is, Father, why? I trust that God give them the strength because they're gonna need that strength every single day. This is something that is not going to part from us for many years to come, and some people are gonna live with the scars of this incident, especially the survivors. Their lives are a testimony. I just pray that God will be with our nation. But there is this video that I wanted to share. I don't know how many persons saw it because this is the video. This is the video that I would love for every Guyanese to take some time out and listen to. And as the young man rightfully said,
too long God has been speaking to
it
us
doesn't
and trying
matter
to get us to do the
how
correct
you take it,
things. And
but
it
give it a
seems
little
like we
time
have
and
little
listen to it.
pockets of conferences going on and exalting what we believe is Jesus Christ, and we are not having a mindset for the nation. Guyana in particularly, we see what has happened. I'm telling you free of charge, that's the beginning of disasters if we do not repent, because God has had it up to here with us. Everybody seems to be in their own faction, their own clique. Nobody wants to come together. The body of Christ in Guyana actually doesn't even have a voice. What can the God of the Bible mandate through his church in Guyana that everyone obeys? There is nothing. We have no voice. Government doesn't listen to us. Parliament doesn't listen to us. Nobody listens to us. We have no say, yet still we pride ourselves in our meetings and our conferences, and we make everything that we do very religious. And because we have a semblance of an anointing, we believe that God is with us. You could be anointed and be Samson. You could be anointed and be Saul. It is time for us to check ourselves as the heads of churches and as the body of Christ in solution. All of us get back to the place of repentance. It is the beginning of sorrows for us. Nobody would like to hear this prophetic word. Frankly, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. We need to change, and we need to change now. Conferences and all kinds of other extracurricular activities, now is not the time to have it going on. Now is the season for repentance, because territorially we as a nation, we have failed in representing Jesus Christ. And the enemy has been able to intrude and step in on a territorial level. And because we have slithered with the snake that is the adversary, we have lost favor with God. We have lost territorial governance. The government is no longer on the shoulders of Jesus Christ. We have failed. We have failed. And we keep showing that we have failed. One person is able to do what the entire nation is trying to do for the body of Christ. That is a failed attempt. Peter preached one message and it riddled and shook 3,000 people. Preached the second one, it shook 5,000. But we are having massive crusades and we're not getting that impact. Churches, it's time for us to repent. If the God of the Bible still lives today and Jesus Christ has been so highly exalted, which he has, it is time for us to prove it. And the first step we will prove it through is repentance.
Good morning, viewers. This message, let the president come in front of me. Mr. Ali, come. Don't waste time. Come. There's a lot of things I want to tell you. You know something? When I did smile growing up, I always think the brightest person in the country is the president, and today me prove that is not true. It's people vote to put you as president. Right? I got some open message for you right now. Before I go down the road, hear this one. Sometime back you said people will get charged who found paying police bribe, and the police also will get charged. You ever mention that who take the big money for sign the license will get charged? You ever mention that? The big buys them? You never mentioned that. Right? You never said that you're going to charge all them brown clothes big buy. What is guys sign for the license? They will get charged though. You never mentioned that, right? But let me tell you something. People in this country fed up because things were supposed to be in place, not in place. Why y'all didn't use the ferry for go and party? The Independence Party what I had. Why y'all don't use it? That's number one. Number two, when was election? Y'all ever go on the ferry when all in river for beg people for vote? Y'all ever go take a drive on the ferry? Why using the brand new $1 million? And you know what happened? People gonna get serious now because too much innocent people dead in this country. This country corrupt, too much of bribery and this and that. People need to stop, look at road and light and water, because years ago, people were still living good without road and water. Because too much of money, too much of bribery. When, let me give you an example. When one road costs 500 million, it's only about $500,000 expensive the contractor get it. Everybody getting cut. That is why road always are broke up. Secondly, you ever hear what engineer find fault for any road in Guyana or any project? Why you don't bring it in? Not you. International engineer or inspection supposed to be in Guyana for investigate them project. This why broke up. You understand? Get a grip. It's just time. If people can give Ramatar a chance where he resurrect from for be president and Granger get a chance, you tell me why Mohammed can't get a chance. And I assure you this, because you love to assure people. Like you used to work with Assurer. I assure you this, that Mohammed will stand up for the ordinary people. You understand? The light and water and road. Nobody get confused with this road thing. That's why we were a broke steady. Yes, the development, yes, because this is the country money. The oil money is there. There's a government job. Nobody feel. One time you said something on a meeting. I'm not going to post it. If you want the people, Guyanese people behave, just start cash grant. That is a high pass. Till now, cash grant share, me even get. Me running behind it. 2 times me run NDC, you gotta go stuff for the paper, you gotta go find out which bank me neighbor, whenever that. But end of the day, if the big money belongs to the country, oil and gas supposed to be reasonable for everybody. But you know what? The revenue gotta keep up high. So that the big money gotta go into the big guy's pocket. You understand? And one Amranian boy said, if it had Afro Guyanese on that boat, people know what would have happened today. But it's mostly Amranian. One other story. A woman said she went to make a report at the station concerning about the boat overcrowd. and the police, they ain't had vehicle or they ain't got gas or some shit like that. Where is them for investigate and bring them up? And we don't want nobody step down. Step down is not satisfaction. Because the pocket of the bank account is well fat. Now step down. You understand? Is one day when people go get real serious. In no other country, they got people that said they say, listen they say, Allahu Akbar. You understand? Because both people crying for justice and want things for the family and stuff, they got cry guts out. Minister go dress up and go and talk to them, this and that, nice. Couple morning, square one. Just like how the people call for investigation for the Adriana Young, let international people come and investigate this boat story. I believe the Guyanese people are satisfied by you bringing international people for this boat story. I see some dead bodies. Well, it's too much. Oh, and Mr. President, I want to beg you for this. The Georgetown Hospital, I'm begging you for this. Please use some resources, money, and bring in some more incubator for the Georgetown Hospital. They need more, and I can tell you why. I lost my son about 2 months ago. He was in 90 days in that hospital. Right? Listen, come, don't get up. Don't go washroom. Sit down in front of the class. So, going back and forth for 90 days, me. I see babies coming down from 2nd floor to 3rd floor. Traverse it. And that guy go back. So, I find out why. I get to understand they don't have enough space in the NICU. So, the doctors them just try the best to shift out. April, May, I don't know if you know, or the health minister tell you, or what, over 4 babies come out from the NICU dead. They go home, like me on go home the last 2 weeks. I have to go and do 3 tests. And every test you gotta go another week. And when you go to a whole bunch of people. For now you got a premature baby. And you gotta go and join a big crowd. Right? But I can tell you this now. From now on, don't call no hospital state of the heart in Guyana. Don't fool the world. And I can tell you why. Does any minister, government people ever go to any of these state-of-the-art hospital? No. They're flying out. Recently, early in April, sometime there, we get to understand our vice president was ill. The reason why? He's not in the country. Probably a mosquito bite in there. You know how much of this had to spend? Why he didn't go to the state-of-the-art? Hundreds of billions of millions. Check Diamond Hospital, the brand new hospital. Go downstairs in the washroom. What I saw, one long crack on the wall. Where is the engineer pass that? But you know something? It passed because from the time the money go down, let's say 500 million, 200 million for engineer, 200 million for who give the contract, and so it go down. So they have to use, instead of 20 sacks cement, 4 sacks cement. So it have to crack. Don't call the hospital state of the art. It looked nice. It looked nice. My baby passed away. Right. Now, when I do find out, the doctor that do my son postmortem, I ask, why couldn't my son spend a little more time for develop? You know what the doctor turned and tell me? 90 days period is it for a premature baby. So that means you have to go. 90 days is enough. I ask you why can't be 120, 150, a little more days. But you got to understand they need more space in the NICU. So please, ease off the little road for now. Enough road. That's important because not government picking you or whatever. Don't go into them hospitals where you are called state of the art. And the next thing, you ever, anybody in the world or country ever hear anybody government official from any Caribbean country comes to Guyana for medical treatment or hospital, anything like that? I ever hear anybody flying to Guyana? Never. Barbados have a proper hospital. Right? Mr. President, go to Charleston Hospital. Know what the Minister of Health will tell you, because when the Minister of Health go there, she big by you reach. You gotta reach the people. There's a lot of things need to tighten. Ramatar get one chance, Guyanese get one chance. Nothing they want to fall in. But let me, I can tell you this say, if Mohammed have to fall in a position, people in Guyana have to give it a try. Because when me hear Ramatar on President of Man, I mean the way he come from, that was who, I don't know. But in the last lang. You understand? Rum and tar. That is why we building off road. And please, the country nice enough because the money flow plenty. So it have to, you know, it have to spend for develop a country by rights. You understand? Because if you put 10 drivers on a bus, is one driver have to steer it. So you farm where you got on the highway. Next time you keep a party, let people get on 2 pound the black belly sheep. It come for the country agriculture, but maybe 100,000 for a pound, maybe, you know. So take me word serious. Do some investment in the Georgetown Public Hospital. Long I was to say this, long. 4 to 5 baby passed away in April, May. I don't know if you know about that. It's because coming out from the NICU. I lost my son. Because he couldn't stay there a little more. Imagine going to a hospital for 90 days. 90 days. Bring you home, looking good, fair enough. But the doctor told me that 90 days time, you have to get discharged. They will tell you, yes, you look good, but we can't know inside. But the thing about it, what I saying this morning, none of y'all Grand Picnic official government people don't go to this so-called state of the art. Is there no state of the art? If Guyana had state of the art, close Caribbean country, government people would have come in for get treat. Nobody don't come in Guyana for get treat. And every time mosquito bite one, either India or something, and all the money could do something for the people of this country. You understand? So take note. Send out a proper investigation on the boat. If you got enough cover up, because when somebody know your secret, you can't pressure them. You understand? You understand how we go? So if you go and pressure Edgel will say, yes, I know when you thief the money for build the ranch. So people got to understand. You're not going to pressure Edgel or who responsible because they're going to bust somebody bag. So this is how the wave got to go. Mohammed and the PPP was like this. And we never hear about how much gold, how much this, and how much that. It's because it started getting so, then things get better. But what I can tell you now, you are trying real hard on this man. But the people in Guyana are going to stand up to you. Trust me, because if anybody got a story and they got to get serious investigation, it's always going to the table. Always going to the table. You see how government take it serious with the Adriana Young? It's because it's Afro-Guyanese. You understand? Because it's Afro-Guyanese. And if it was a whole boat Afro-Guyanese went on the boat, I don't believe y'all official were in Guyana. I don't believe so. Have a nice day.
So, my good people, today is not just another like a news story, you know. It's a painful reminder that that is a reminder that life can change in seconds, guys. So in Guyana, families are grieving, the community is hurting, and the entire nation is asking very difficult or other questions. First of all, our thoughts are with everybody that got affected by the MV Barima tragedy. So, with the families, with the survivors, and other rescue teams, and every person whose life has been changed instantly and forever. No words can remove that pain, honestly, but perhaps you can learn something from it because every tragedy should teach us something. If you fail to learn, then history may repeat itself. So, welcome back to this amazing channel. Today is not about politics at all. Just from the introduction, it's not about blaming people before investigations are complete. It's about education, safety, and protecting lives of all the people in the world. And it's also about asking how Trinidad and Tobago can become better prepared for emergency. I mean, how Guyana can become better prepared for emergencies. So, one thing that stood out after this tragedy was the reaction from the ordinary Guyanese people. I mean, these people, every one of us was heartbroken. I mean, we are all praying, we are demanding answers, and many Guyana people were asking, how could this happen? Could it have been prevented? And is it that there is enough safety measures in place? I mean, these are the question that people, the Guyanese, want to know. These are very fair questions, by the way, because at the end of the day, you see, public transportation is built on trust, right? When people order a vessel, a ship, they trust that it's safe, right? And they also trust that, inspections has taken place, the crew has been trained well, and someone has made sure that everything is working properly. So trust is very important everywhere, by the way. And at the end of the day, lives depend on trust, right? So when tragedies happen, that trust is broken, that trust is shaken, and that is why accountability always matters in whatever thing that is happening in this world, and not only in Guyana. But now, and as much as accountability matters, and that is because not that people want someone to blame on, but because people want confidence at the end of the day, because confidence that you see a lesson will be learned, the confidence that mistakes will not happen again. Every investigation should answer one question: what is the government going to do in order to improve? Not just like, who are we going to criticize? No, that's not the focus of our video or our topic today. And that difference is important to also note, because when it comes to improving systems, that is equal to saving lives. Blaming people alone does not in any way help us at all. So one lesson that each one of us should actually remember is that safety cannot be an afterthought. It's something that should be thought of before, in the first place, before the profits, before the schedules, before the convenience. Safety first. Safety first always. And that will mean regular inspections and proper maintenance of the vessel, qualified crew operating the vessel, and working communication system, emergency drills, and also a functioning life-saving equipments. None of these things should ever be optional, by the way, because you see, when it comes to emergencies, these are rarely a situation that gives no warning. Preparations happen before a disaster strikes, not after a disaster strikes. Many people also forget something very important, that passengers have responsibilities too, knowing where life jackets are placed or where they are, listening to safety instructions, remaining calm during emergencies, helping children, helping the elderly. These simple actions can make a difference, by the way. And if you look at the community also, it does play a major role, in fact, a very important one. Look at how the people responded. Many ordinary citizens wanted to help, And of course, many of them offered support. Some people donated, others prayed, others comforted the grieving families. That is the spirit that makes our community stronger. Imagine if the community was like well trained on this. Uh, I mean, more people will have known this basic first aid thing. Imagine if more of the community understood emergency responses. Imagine if school teachers, um, if the school put this particular disaster preparedness in their syllabus, and it was one of the like compulsory subject. I mean, imagine in a workplace where emergency drills are being prepared or practiced. Imagine, I mean, you see, at the end of the day, if you get to see a prepared community, that is equal to saving a lot of lives. So this MV Barima tragedy reminds us how important first responders are. The rescue teams, the police officers, the medical workers, the coast guards, the volunteers, the community. I mean, these men and women, most of the time they do run towards danger while others are running away from danger. So their work deserves recognition. They also need support in terms of training, in terms of good equipment, resources. Name them, because you see, when these emergencies happen, time matters, seconds matters, preparation matters, coordination matters. Government also has an important responsibility, because the citizens expect oversight from the government. The citizens expect safety regulations, that the government should formulate safety regulations. Transparency. That does not mean that rushing to conclusion is the way. No, it means it's all about allowing investigations to determine the facts. Evidence matters at the end of the day, and facts matter. And okay, I know good investigations are not about politics, by the way. They're about preventing future tragedies. If recommendations are made, they should not remain in paper. They should be implemented. They should become actions, because recommendations that are ignored cannot actually save lives. Infrastructure is another lesson that we should all talk about. You see, safe spots, modern vessels, reliable communication system, weather monitoring equipment, or actually just that process of monitoring the weather and letting the community know. I mean, emergency response centers being present everywhere. These are all investments that really save lives, but the real investments is with the human beings. There is no greater investment than protecting people. Sometimes it takes a tragedy for countries to make improvement, which shouldn't be the case. And unfortunately, history has shown that. And we should have new safety laws that should be formulated. We should have better regulations, improved training, modern equipment, and them. Many of those particular changes have come out because of a lessons that was once learned. If you actually watch keenly and follow up on most of these things, so the hope is always that fewer families will experience such loss in the near future. And the emotional lesson is that life is fragile. Sometimes, yeah, I agree, we become busy, and we get to postpone conversation, visits, and we say that at the end of the day, yeah, you just know that I love you, yeah. But you see, these particular tragedies, when they happen, they remind us not to take tomorrow for granted, not to take today for granted, not to take any person for granted. We should value family, friendships, and every moment that we have together. And as investigations continue with the MV Barima tragedy, it's important that rumors do not replace facts. Social media moves fast. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes too fast. And in that process, false information could easily spread. And that can cause even more pain, by the way, especially for the grieving families. So we should, at this point, let investigators do their work and let evidence guide the conclusion. I understand patience is very difficult, but it's necessary, guys. The reaction from Guyanese also shows something positive in it, because yeah, we've got to see how people do care, and they want really safer communities. They want stronger system and working systems. They want accountability, transparency. That passion alone can become something very powerful. It can encourage change, or it can actually make changes to happen. And we've all seen them talking about reforms, and we've seen leaders being told to strengthen safety measures. And this is how the country will actually improve, not by forgetting the tragedy, but by learning from them. No nation is perfect at the end of the day. No island is perfect at the end of the day. But I know we all have challenges here and there, but what matters is how those challenges are addressed, whether lessons become action or promises become reality, or probably safety becomes a national priority. Every passenger, everybody deserves peace of mind. Every family deserves reassurance. Every journey that happens anywhere, any minute, not only just in Guyana but around the world, should begin with confidence and end safely. If there is this one message that you should take from the MV Barima tragedy, it is the fact that protecting lives require everybody. It requires everybody: the government, the transport operators, emergency responders, communities, families, passengers. We all have a role to play, actually. So our deepest condolences remain with every family that is affected in Guyana. And I pray that those who lost loved ones find strength. I pray that survivors continue to heal, and may Guyana honor those affected by building an even safer future for the Guyanese people. If this tragedy has taught you, yeah, has taught you, actually, that's glad, because I know it has taught us to prepare better, to invest more in safety, to strengthen accountability, and to value every human life, right? So something meaningful can come from an unimaginable loss. But anyway, I don't know what you think about this particular issue. You've actually watched the Guyanese people speaking, reacting. They have so much pain in them. But for me, it is just to tell you something that is encouraging, to encourage you, to tell you sorry. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what's your lesson on this. I'll see you in the next video, my good people. Bye bye.